All right, so we found an article on bleacherreport.com that identifies several NBA coaches on the hot seat. Let's get into that right quick. Now, the first coach coming up is Doc Rivers. Do you believe he's really on the hot seat?
No, I don't think he's on the hot seat for this season. Absolutely not. I think that um, depending on how their playoff run happens, and particularly his success will be on the back of James Harden. It just is what it is. Now, I don't think he's on a hot seat, so I do not believe he'll be losing his job this season, whether or not they go deep or not. I just know that the narrative for next season will not be favorable for Doc Rivers if they
Mm.
do not go deep. So it's going to be a struggle. He'll have to hear the negative comments, and he'll be a part of, is he really the best coach for the Sixers? He'll have to go through all of that. And if James Harden disappears in the postseason as he's known to do previously, it's going to be a very rough road for Doc Rivers coming up in the next season. Oh yeah, oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh man, I like Doc Rivers and I don't see him on the hot seat, but it is definitely lukewarm for him. Because I mean, there's so much pressure right now with James and Joel. I mean, you gave up
Mhm,
so much to get him.
mhm.
And there's no excuse why they should not go deep in the playoffs. If for some reason the Philadelphia 76ers exit the first round,
Oh my God.
Doc, I'm sorry. I cannot support that. And he probably will get fired in the offseason.
You think so?
If they make a first round exit,
See, and that's the thing about it. Unfortunately, Doc, I just said it. If they make a first round exit, it's going to be on the back of James Harden because he did not hold up his end of the bargain. It ain't going to be Joel Embiid. It's not going to be
oh,
everybody else. I still don't know. And it's going to be because they actually had to trade Seth Curry. I don't know why they thought they needed to do that.
especially the way he cooked them. It
I don't know why they needed to do that, but they did. So Doc's success is going to rest on the backs. It's going to rest on two things: whether or not they go deep in the playoffs, because you cannot tell me that this roster can't. Well, you cannot tell me that Joel Embiid and James Harden cannot lead this roster to the conference finals with the way they were playing in the first few games that James Harden joined the team. That's number
mhm,
one.
mhm.
However, that game against the Nets, hold up, wait a minute.
Yeah,
Hold
yeah.
up, wait a minute. So hopefully that
Mhm.
was just an anomaly and it won't happen again. And then two, if James, I'm sorry, Doc, I hope you don't have an exit like you had with the Clippers.
Ah, all right. So the next coach they have listed here is Dwane Casey. Now, Dwane Casey, he's head coach of the Detroit Pistons, and come on now, the Detroit Pistons are in rebuild mode. It's unfair to even have him in this conversation at this point.
I think it's fair to have him in the conversation because he has been there for 3 seasons. So
Mm,
they may be in a real rebuild mode now, but what were they the previous 2 seasons? At what point will Dwayne Casey lead these Detroit Pistons at least to some type of playoff appearance and at least show up? At this point, I want the Pistons to be in a play-in tournament. Can we get you there? Can we get you there? And can you now, compete for a playoff spot? Dwayne Casey is on this list. It is a fair point, but he has his contract is up in 2024. I think he has 2 more years on his contract. I say just let him ride it out and just continue to move on. I don't think they should. He just got this roster now. I don't even know if Jeremy Grant is going to be there
yeah,
coming up.
yeah.
So it's very unfair for these coaches to be on the hot seat when they have a revolving door
Hmm.
to some of their star players on their roster. So what do you expect them to work with?
Exactly. Well, they do have Cade Cunningham now. This is
Yes.
rookie season. I mean,
Yep.
like, what could we expect from Cade right now? And,
Yeah.
and more
Exactly.
importantly, Dwayne Casey, I think it's unfair to have him on this list because first of all, Dwayne Casey is a championship bound coach. Remember what he did with the Toronto Raptors. Do we need to look at his resume?
Championship bound and
Yeah,
championship having two different things.
I'm just
And although
saying.
he's championship bound, a lot of these coaches are championship bound. But how much longer am I going to carry that torch? How many more teams will I be championship bound to and never make it? So I say just let Casey. It says fair that he's on the list. We should be talking about anybody who's been with a team for a couple of seasons and their postseason appearance has been minimal. So, but I give him a pass because again, he just got Cade Cunningham right? Give him some time to understand what his core will be. Who will his superstar be, or a star, or a solid player, whatever, how you want to word it. Who is that going to be? Because I thought it was going to be Jeremy Grant, and it's not.
Nah, he's out of there, I'm sure.
Exactly. So give him one more year to be able to figure something out. So yeah.
Okay. Now, this next coach, I definitely believe that he is definitely on the hot seat. It's Quin Snyder for the Utah Jazz.
I have to agree with the article in this regard.
Mm-hmm.
And I like Quin Snyder, but I believe his time is up with the Jazz.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Is his time up with coaching? No. But with the Jazz, yes. It is time for a new voice with the Jazz. And sometimes, although you may be a good coach, you are bound to the success of your players and how they do that collectively. And so, and because now Danny Ainge is a new GM there, I wouldn't even be surprised. When you get a new boss, anything can happen. So I wouldn't even be surprised if Danny Ainge is not having side conversations with another coach right now. So Quin Snyder, he has, I believe, has brought this Jazz team to where they meet, he's brought them to the furthest he's going to bring them. It probably is now just based off of timing that someone else comes in. So yes, Quin Snyder's on the hot seat, but Quin Snyder will be coaching another team in the fall. He's gonna be coaching somebody else. I'm not even worried about it.
Well, the thing is, he's been with the Utah Jazz since 2015.
I know.
I mean, that's a good run.
Yes.
But to not make it deep in the playoffs during that whole stretch, including a couple of first-round exits after having the number 1 seed, is unacceptable. That seat is smoking hot right now.
Yes, it is.
And if the Jazz don't make it at least to the conference finals this season, which I don't really see happening, Quin Snyder can pack his bags. All right, now Alvin Gentry of the Sacramento Kings, he's the interim coach right now, replaced Luke Walton mid-season. Is it fair that Alvin Gentry is on the hot seat?
No, it's not fair that Alvin Gentry is on the hot seat. However, I do like the article mentioned that any coach for the Kings is on a perpetual hot seat. And I'm sorry, if you coaching the Kings, whether you want to or not, your seat is going to be hot. So although I don't think it's fair that Alvin Gentry is on here, and when will they hire him as head coach, not interim? When will they do that for him? So they don't even. This is letting me know the organization right now is not 100% sold on Alvin Gentry, which I don't know who else you think. Who is seeking out to coach the Kings?
Oh, that's cool. So, now the De'Aaron Fox is down there. Who else?
Because they just traded Halliburton.
Buddy Hield's gone. So big fella Marvin Bagley's gone, right?
So give Alvin Gentry a chance to rebuild. Give him that. At least give him that. If you were able to sit with Luke Walton for a couple of seasons, I don't know why you can't sit with Alvin Gentry. So yeah, go ahead and let him ride out. Let him rebuild. Let him start fresh with his new people that he wants to work with. And then let's see about it then. But to be on the hot seat, I don't think it's fair right now.
Right. Okay. Now, the New York Knicks, they have their 2021 Coach of the Year, Tom Thibodeau. They have their most improved player in Julius Randle. But the New York Knicks are struggling this season. Is Tom Thibodeau on the hot seat?
Unfortunately, yes. Anytime you are a coach of a storied franchise, and the New York Knicks is one of them, you're going to be on a hot seat. So yeah, he's on a hot seat. And from the article, I remember reading that it's something that even the front office believes that, he may not be, and I'm paraphrasing, you got to read the article yourself, but that he may not even be the right fit for the team right now. So yeah, Tom Thibodeau, I don't know if you're going to see the 2023 NBA season with the New York Knicks. I don't see it.
Yeah, I don't see it either. But the good thing for Tom is he will find another job. Maybe he can go down to Sacramento.
Oh, don't do that. Oh, I'm sorry. As long as you're gainfully employed, I guess that's all that matters.
All right. No, so the Los Angeles Lakers, Frank Vogel, there were talks about him being on the hot seat earlier in the season. Now, this article has him on the list. Is it fair to say that Frank Vogel might get fired this offseason?
Yes. He's done. Y'all see it? If you've been watching any part of the NBA, you see it. You already know Frank Vogel is out of there.
Yeah, he's gone.
I really hope he's in discussions right now to go somewhere else. He's done. As a matter of fact, why would he even want to stay? I wouldn't want to be there.
Oh my God.
No, Frank Vogel, trust me, it will be a mutual. It was a mutual agreement. That's going to be the message. Frank Vogel is done. Yeah,
Yeah,
he's out.
he's done. He's done. I never thought he was the right coach once they accumulated LeBron, AD, and Russ. I said, okay, all right, Frank, I'll give you a chance. But I never thought he was it. He's not the right coach for them. They need somebody who's going to hold players accountable.
Who they need?
And Mark Jackson. I know the thing is though, but Frank has to hold them accountable, and he's not doing that. And we're seeing the results of this right now with the Lakers barely in the play-in tournament, which is unacceptable for the Los Angeles Lakers. 17 championships? Really? This is unacceptable.
Barely, barely in the play-in tournament, and their core play and their number one superstar is not injured. Because when they didn't make the playoffs the last time, he was injured. So that gave us, some type of narrative where it's okay, LeBron James is injured. Of course not. He ain't injured now. He putting up 50 pieces left and right against teams that he should be putting up 50 pieces against, but anybody else putting up no points. Again, Frank Vogel, your time with the Lakers is up.
So if you've been watching this channel for some time, we always got to have a bonus. and in this instance, we have a bonus head coach who we think is on the hot seat. I'm gonna let you go first. Who you got?
It is with a heavy heart that I give you who my coach that is currently on the hot seat, and that's gonna have to be Nick Nurse. I know.
Oh,
yeah. I don't know if Nick Nurse is gonna make it another season with the Toronto Raptors, and I say that because Masai Ujiri don't play that. So I think that Nick Nurse has been able to ride the wave of the current crises that we've been going through, especially in Toronto with their strict rules and the fact that they have been displaced. Now they have a roster of pretty good players. They have a roster of championship players. So I don't know if it's going to be acceptable for another season that the Toronto Raptors do not find themselves in the solid 1 through 6 spot. So that's why I'm saying Nick Nurse. I know that he was once coach of the year, but coaches of the year lose his jobs in the next season as well. We've seen that happen in the past. So yeah, I just want to say Nick Nurse that his season, if it's not hot, it's lukewarm for sure. So yeah, I say Nick Nurse.
Oh, okay. Now you are not going to believe who I have on the hot seat. You're just not going to believe it. But I think Steve Nash is under the same type of pressure that Doc Rivers is under.
That's fair.
Steve Nash, if the Brooklyn Nets do not make it to the NBA Finals, I'm not talking about the conference finals or semi. No. The Brooklyn Nets have to make it to the NBA Finals. And if not, Steve Nash, he's out of there. Guaranteed.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Nah.
There's no way. Just like Frank Vogel, I don't think he's the right coach to manage the egos. He doesn't have it in him, and it's okay. But maybe he needs to be coaching another team that has, mid-range stars, players who are on the verge of becoming superstars. Not KD, Kyrie, absolutely not. Ben Simmons and all that he brings. Steve Nash is in. I don't even like the way that he handled the whole Kyrie situation. 1 minute he's talking to the media saying, "Oh, hey, we need him full time. We're not going to put him on the court." And the next minute, once he gets played for home games, it's like, "Oh yeah, well, we welcome Kyrie." Look, dude, draw your line in the sand and pick a side.
Yeah, no.
So that really turned me off about Steve Nash.
Okay.
And I think he's out.
All right.